Here we have rear brakes on a Dodge 2002 Dakota pickup truck, 4-wheel drive. I'm going to show you how to take the brake shoes off and disassemble all that and then put it back together. First thing you want to do obviously is break the wheel, break loose the lug nuts while the truck's on the ground. Jack it up, take the tire off. Here's where we're at. So, there's your front shoe, rear shoe. They're a little different. This one has more padding on the back than the one on the front. It's actually a little thicker too. First thing we'll do is pull these springs off. Brake tool, brake spring removal tool. Very good to have. Alright, you just put that in there. That little lip goes underneath the spring. Pop it off. Simple. Do it on the other side. There we go. Everything kind of falls apart. Take this spring off here. I like to lay the parts out the way they come off. That way it makes it easier when you're putting it back together. You know where everything goes. This thing back here, this is just holds this self-adjusting cable back up where it's supposed to be. Take that off. And this is the self-adjusting cable. It hooks up on this big fat piece up here. See, and the cable goes down, rides on this little, I don't know if you can see that little silver guide, and then goes down and then hooks onto the self-adjuster lever right here. So we're going to grab onto this spring and pull this off so we can get it out. There we go. It comes out like that. There we go. Here's what that looks like. There is a front and a back. The little arm latches in right there on the back. Obviously, if you have it that way, I don't think it's going to hold very well. So, here's the little thing that the cable rides on, and this presses up against, flat up against the brake shoe, and the spring holds it against there. I actually had to stick a couple little washers back there because mine kept on popping off. It seems to have helped. I don't know. One thing to do before you take all this apart, sometimes it helps to take a picture of it, so when you're trying to put it back together, if you forget how you took it apart, you could look at your picture and kind of go from there, and never take both sides apart at the same time, because if all else fails, you could always go over to the other side and see how the springs are situated and then put them back on. Unfortunately, sometimes the person before you that put all this together don't know what they're doing and they have things on wrong. That's what my case was with this. I've had these shoes on and off several times because somebody had this wasn't back here on this little lip. It was in the front. I guess he thought that this didn't come off and he had it up there with the springs. When I put that all back together like that, I had all kind of issues with these. Wouldn't fit flush up against this piece right here, and had issues with the self-adjuster too. So it's important that these things go back in the right order. And I ended up getting a picture out of the service manual that helped. These little springs here hold the shoes against the backing plate. Here's a tool you could use. It's just as easy to use a pair of vice grips or pliers, and you can just push it in and turn it so that little tab goes in through the slot. There's that side. Push the pin out. This side. Actually, there's a spring under here I'm going to take apart first. This spring here holds the bottom of the shoes together and holds this self-adjuster in place. Here's the shoe. Here's the self-adjuster. These do have kind of they go in a certain direction. And make sure, like inside of there, it has a little L, meaning for the left side of the truck. They do have sides that you gotta adhere to so they go back, so they work correctly. This part here is for the parking brake, and man, it pushes the shoes apart. Let's get this apart. This arm here is for the parking brake. It comes off, the shoe comes off of there real easy. Just there's a little notch up there that fits in. Just push that out. Here's the spring that holds the bottom of the shoes together. Here is the little self-adjuster that rides on this thing. So as it adjusts the shoes, this little arm keeps it from turning in the opposite direction and loosening back up again. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to clean these surfaces here where the brake shoes, they kind of ride on these little places right here, here, and try to clean some of the rust off so they run a little smoother. When you get down this far, you could peek back here behind the boot and make sure there's not fluid coming out. You don't want to let rust and stuff in there either though. And these look okay, I'm not going to mess with that. And that's it. Thanks.